Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Defanny Tiara Rossa from class A. In here, I will discuss about English consonant based on manner of articulation and place of articulation. The content of the material is 1. Consonant, 2. Classification of consonant, 3. Manner of articulation, and 4. Place of articulation. For introduction, all the sounds of English, both consonant and vowels, are produced on this pulmonic aggressive airstream, where the initiator is the lungs and the rest of the respiratory system, and the direction of airflow is outwards. This is overwhelmingly the most common airstream mechanism in every language of the world. For instance, the sounds bilabial nasal for when we say this, it's produced using the lips, which is bilabial, and with airflow through the nose, which is nasal. So this is strictly a pulmonic aggressive bilabial nasal. The first material is consonant. Consonant is one of the two general categories used for the classification of speech sounds, the other being vowel. Consonant can be defined in terms of both phonetics and phonology. Phonetically, they are sounds made by closure or narrowing the vocal tract so that the airflow is either completely blocked or so restricted that audible friction is produced. Next, classification of consonant. Consonant can be divided into manner of articulation. This refers to how the sound is made. An active articulator to produce any consonant usually located somewhere along the base of the vocal tract when the air pressure behind a complete closure in the vocal tract is gradually released, moves toward a passive articulator somewhere along the top. How close the active and passive articulators get determines a manner of articulation. Meanwhile, where those articulators are determines the consonant's place of articulation. So, place of articulations refers to where the sound is made in the mouth. As we have seen, the location of active and passive articulators determines the place of articulation for a consonant. In English, consonants are produced at 8 places of articulation. 3. Manner of articulations. There is 6 basic manner of articulation that we will look at. First, stop is when the airflow is stopped or blocked completely before being released. For example, p as in page, b as in baby, and this is bilabial stops. T in take, d in day, and this is alveolar stops. K for coffee, g for egg, and this is velar stop. 2. Fricatives is when air is restricted by a narrow passage formed by various parts of the mouth and tongue, but is not completely stopped. For example, a foot, a very, and this is labiodental fricative, a thing, those, and this is dental fricative, a six, a zoo, and this is alveolar fricative, a ship, a danger, and this is palatal fricative. 3. Affricates is the sounds are made through the combination of a stop and a fricative. For example, ch, match, reach, j, jang, judge. 4. Nasal is when the oral passage is closed, which have no oral airflow at all, and the air flows continues through the nose instead. Example, as in ram, make, and this is bilabial nasal. As in need, no, and this is alveolar nasal. As in ring, sing, and this is velar nasal. 5. Liquids is where the airstream passes through the mouth in a very fluid manner. 1. Lateral, the tip of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge. Retroflex, the tip of the tongue slightly bends backwards. For example, all, as in luck, love, and call, and this is alveolar lateral. As in right, roar, and rose, and this is alveolar retroflex. And the last one is glide. Glide is when the airflow moves relatively freely around the tongue, but not quite close enough to create air turbulence. For example, oh, as in why, how, and wet, and this is velar glides, or approximate, and y, a, as in yeah, you, and by, and this is palatal glides or approximate. And the last material is place of articulation. Number 1, bilabial. For a bilabial sounds, the active articulator is the bottom lip, and the passive articulator is the top lip. So the sounds is between the lips. For example, p, pop, peace, happy, b, busy, blank, map, jam, mine. 2. Labiodental. When the top teeth touching or connecting the bottom of lip. For example, of fate, for, after, of, verb, improve, vision. Number 3, dental. Dental sounds produced with the tip of the tongue between the teeth. For example, thick, bath, math, the. For example, then, there. Number 4, alveolar. Alveolar sounds are produced by the tip or near the top teeth, moving up towards the alveolar ridge. For example, t, temp, tip, d, day, deep, and, nine, band, as, city, bus, as. For 0, zip, r, rate, arms, l for late, ball, almost. Number 5, postalveolar. Sounds are produced with the blade of the tongue approaching the hard palate. The hard palate is behind the alveolar ridge. For example, ash, brush, shape, edge, orange, beige, ch, choice, change, j, jump. 6. Palatal. Palatals are produced by the front of the tongue, or tongue which moves up towards body near the hard palate. For example, y, for year, by, pay. 7. Velar. When you raise the back of your tongue to the velum or soft palate to block or restrict airflow. For example, k, kid, coat, g, bag, agree, going, uncle. And the last one is glottal. Glottal is the way you inhale and then hold your breath for a few seconds while keeping your mouth open. English has 2 glottal sounds. The first, namely the glottal stop, realization of t in many accents, for example as in butter. And the second is voiceless glottal fricative, for example hike. And this is voiceless glottal fricative. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.